Prince Andrew told to uninvite himself from Royal Christmas over links to Chinese spy and latest scandal. The Duke of York is reportedly being told to uninvite himself from the royals' pre-Christmas bash at Buckingham Palace this Thursday. A royal insider told The Sun that while Andrew is under pressure to step away, the king will be reluctant to ban his brother outright. Andrew is also being urged to keep out of the public gaze when he visits church at Sandringham on Christmas Day with other royals. The alleged Chinese spy became a close confidant of the disgraced Duke of York. The man, who was banned from Britain by the government on national security grounds, visited Buckingham Palace twice, and also entered St. James' Palace and Windsor Castle at the invitation of Prince Andrew, The Times reported. On Friday, the Duke said he ceased all contact with the businessman accused of being a Chinese spy when concerns were first raised about him. On Saturday, it was also revealed that H6 also met Theresa May and David Cameron, according to Sky News and the Sunday Times. There is no suggestion that either knew the individual, known as H6 because of national security laws, had links to the Chinese state. A spokeswoman for Baroness May told Sky News, "Baroness May and her husband, Sir Philip, are photographed at numerous events in any given year. As such, she doesn't remember when or where this particular photograph was taken or the man in question." A source close to Lord Cameron said, David Cameron was leader of the Conservative Party for over a decade and PM for 6 years. He met thousands of people in that time at hundreds of functions and events. We don't have any further information about this individual. Reform UK MPs say they are prepared to use parliamentary privilege to name the suspected spy, according to leader Nigel Farage. The rule gives MPs certain legal immunities over what they say in the Commons, and Mr. Farage is threatening to use this power to reveal who the businessman is in the House. Speaking to the Mail on Sunday, Mr. Farage said, "The man should be named immediately, otherwise, the whole thing smacks of an establishment cover-up." If it's not resolved in the courts, he should be named in the Commons. It's clearly in the national interest. Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary, has also called for the alleged Chinese spy to lose his anonymity. The thought has been echoed by other senior Tories such as Sir Ian Duncan Smith and Chris Philp, reports The Telegraph. MI5 had identified him as an agent involved in covert and deceptive activity on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. Andrew met the individual through official channels with nothing of a sensitive nature ever discussed, a statement from his office said. The businessman brought a case to the Special Immigration Appeals Commission, SIAC, after then Home Secretary Suella Braverman said he should be excluded from the UK in March 2023. Several newspapers have reported that the king has been briefed about his brother's links to the alleged spy. Ms. Braverman has called for the man, known only as H6, to lose his anonymity, The Telegraph has reported, as a deterrent to others taking part in similar activities. Judges were told that in a briefing for the Home Secretary in July 2023, officials claimed H6 had been in a position to generate relationships between prominent UK figures and senior Chinese officials that could be leveraged for political interference purposes. They also said H6 had downplayed his relationship with the Chinese state, which combined with his relationship with Andrew, 64, represented a threat to national security. At a hearing in July, the specialist tribunal heard the businessman was told by an advisor to Andrew that he could act on the Duke's behalf when dealing with potential investors in China, and that H6 had been invited to Andrew's birthday party in 2020. A letter referencing the birthday party from the advisor, Dominic Hampshire, was discovered on H6's devices when he was stopped at a port in November 2021. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper told Sky News on Saturday that the government always respects the decisions of the courts and would not comment on individual cases when asked if H6's anonymity should be lifted. Ms. Cooper added, "Our security and intelligence agencies are continually vigilant for any threat to UK national security, whether that be around foreign influence, whether it be around espionage, whether it be around any security threat." We won't hesitate to take action in individual cases or more widely wherever any challenge arises. In a ruling on Thursday, Mr. Justice Bourne, Judge Stephen Smith and Sir Stuart Ildon dismissed the challenge. It comes after the royal family reportedly took further steps over the summer to distance themselves from the disgraced Duke, with the King said to have axed his £1 million annual living allowance and the security Charles had been privately funding for Andrew's home. Professor Rana Mitter, St. Lee Professor of U.S.-Asia Relations at the Harvard Kennedy School and an expert in Chinese politics, told BBC Radio 4's Today program that part of Chinese spying strategy is to look for people who might be influential over time but are in a bit of a doldrums. He said the situation involving the Duke of York and H6 is not so much about spying in the sense of trying to find out secrets, it's about trying to influence. Getting to know the elites of countries like Britain is a useful task not for immediate knowledge but maybe for long-term development of links in society. It seems that's what has been going on here, Professor Mitter said. One of the things that quite often will happen is looking out for who may be influential over time, but perhaps is in a bit of a down spot, a bit of a doldrums. One of the best examples from a generation ago would have been President Richard Nixon. After he had to resign in disgrace over Watergate, he was frequently invited to China. Andrew Lowney, who is writing a biography of the Duke and Sarah, Duchess of York, said the latest revelations involving the King's younger brother would impact the wider family and the future of the monarchy, as he called for greater transparency around the royals' finances. He said, "The real scandals surrounding him are financial more than sexual." Given he cannot police his own activities and understand where the moral boundaries lie, It is time for proper scrutiny of his finances and a public register of royal interests. Judging from online comments to newspaper articles, this episode is highly damaging for the whole of the royal family, whose finances and business activities should now be more transparent. Time, too, for the exemption for them in the Freedom of Information Act be removed and their wills not sealed. After recent scandals, I think this is a very serious moment for the future of the monarchy. Buckingham Palace and the Duke of York's office have been approached for comment.